Hey, we're back live and we're talking wrap up here. So, last we left off, we finished a campaign. It doesn't happen that often, but we've done it twice somehow. Believe it or not, I don't. We've got a little bit of epilogue stuff to talk about. We've got a very flattering angle for AJ to have half his face covered by camera as usual. And not called out ever.
Call me out.
Always. So yeah, it's a little bit more relaxed. Just a bit of a chat. Probably won't be... I said these famous words last time. Probably won't be too long. But we'll see how it goes. This journey started within the confines of the city of Yosgrin. Promised by the Hold Queen to stop a coming end to the city of Yosgrin, the fledgling kingdom. Heroes were picked, the most adequate for the job. And they journeyed north, past frigid north, where material and elemental planes start to mix. The elemental plane of water, specifically the ice and part. You journeyed, you met giants, you met genies, you met dragons. But ultimately, even though you had a few losses along the way, you were successful. You slayed Sirmith. Yosgrin is safe for now until future threats. But the doomsday prophecy that was spoken does not speak true, as no longer the raiders of Yosgrin, the heroes of Yosgrin, are triumphant. I want to talk a little bit about epilogue here, about what each character sort of wants to do, but I suppose there's the most pressing matter that the group would have gotten to first would be finding Peruna. I'd say with enough time, you would have found Peruna. You would have found enough material within Sirmith's hoard to cast Reincarnation. We've done this before, touched on it briefly in our last campaign, because big bads are very deadly. There is
I didn't notice.
a resurrection ritual that is required. Up to 3 people can help with what they wish to offer up and say to Peruna.
Given I'm the one casting it, I can't take part in the ritual, correct?
I assume not now.
Yeah,
That's unfortunate.
that is unfortunate. I had something to say otherwise, but that's cool.
Because every roll you would have made would have been disadvantaged because you are ugly fucker.
Aren't you exhausted, Corvallis?
Wow.
Corvallis is exhausted, yes, but how long can we wait for reincarnation?
You can wait a week, so you can wait time if you so wish.
Yeah,
There's also the failsafe method if you truly wish to bring her back.
No.
With Kyrian.
No. Get fucked.
What do you mean no? It worked. It worked.
I don't want Peruna to have spines and spines.
That
What's
sounds like
wrong
a
with
you
that?
problem.
Yeah, fair.
No offense, but look at him.
He's ugly.
Asketil thinks different. Kyrian is a legit snack.
He's a flexible boy.
Especially in that
would
mud
go
bath.
for immediately.
Mud baths with Kieran. Let's go.
So we assume
It's
you
my
rest on.
autobiography name. My baths with Kyrian.
That's the name of your epilogue episode. So, the day you take to rest, you find Peruna's body. Who would like to offer a check to bring Peruna back first? Corvallis. Eager?
Corvallis would take off the beanie that he'd carried for, or wore for, however long since Peruna made it. Fold it up neatly, brush some of the ash and singed hair off of it, because it definitely took 1 or 2 hits. And yeah, just say, Peruna, I think you are genuinely the best of us. Like, the best person in our group of people. Morally. And just in general. We need our moral compass back, I would say. Just because I think Asketil would try and take over in terms of leadership if you weren't here. So please come back. Please.
I'm gonna come back.
Roll me a persuasion check, please. I'll let it be at advantage because you do have a sentimental item.
Okay. I can't remember, but I think I've got like a -1 on charisma.
I will check your modifier. I have your sheets up here.
Okay, thank you.
So with your persuasion, you are not proficient. Your persuasion is -1. I'm going to
Cool.
set the modest DC of DC 15. No, DC 13.
Well, I rolled a 6 on one die
That's good.
and an 18 on the other die.
Yeah.
Yo.
That will bring
So
the check
17.
from the flat 10 down to 7 to begin with.
Done my part.
Asketil, would you like to help this?
Yes.
Aid this in any way?
Well, of course.
Still in the
Uh,
bed.
Yeah, help is not as strong a word as we need. Lead the resurrection ritual, more like.
Okay,
So- Yeah, Asketil will put his weapons around Peruna's body and say, well, we've seen with our own eyes that Peruna is a mighty warrior, the kind that even the god of warriors, Bison, would be happy to welcome to his side. But I don't think it's time yet. There are other prophecies to fulfill, other creatures to slay. And look at this, even such a mighty and powerful warrior as I needs weaponry. You, Peruna, do not. You hold everything you need in the palm of your hand. That is the kind of a companion I would need to fulfill the prophecy and save my island. So, as we saw the Lord of Warriors today lend his hand, let him show his face again and bless this warrior with the gift of life.
Please make me a religion check, Asketil.
I will.
And I'm going to put DC.
It's
I thought she was going for history.
Let's go. DC 15. Do you have anything you wish to offer up to this ritual to add or aid it? An item you wish to place down on the altar?
Well, I put my weaponry around it.
Anything of
to,
sentimental
like,
value to
attract.
Peruna?
And anything of sentimental value. She did not make a hat for me, so no, I have nothing.
I did
just
not
straight
finish
up.
making a hat for you.
Yeah.
Tattoo her butt
unfortunately.
cheek. That's sentimental.
I thought about it, but I don't think she would appreciate it when she goes back. But I do have a +5 on my religion, so that's
So
something.
it's going to be DC 15.
I don't have advantage, do I?
Unless one of your runes does.
No, not for religion. So that's a 7.
So that
Woo!
will increase the DC
I rolled
by...
a fat 2.
I must double check my rules. I think it's either increases it by
I
1.
think it's by 1.
I will double check. 90% sure.
Because success drops by 2, but failure
Well,
increases by
success
1, I'm
drops by
pretty sure.
3. I will have to double check.
What does that mean?
So I'm wrong anyway.
Look, either one of us is wrong or
Success.
both of us are wrong.
Success drops by 3, but failure raises by 1? What does that mean?
I think hear me out, guys. I think we should split the difference, drop it by 5.
Thank
Nice.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
smart.
Very
Okay.
helpful.
Well done, Kate.
Please stop talking.
That's fair. So resurrection check.
As Thorvald would say.
A successful
Be
one
quiet.
is decreased by 3. A fail is increased by 1. So that makes it 10 down to 7, up to 8 now. Adon, is there any way you wish to influence this? Do you feel like you've gotten to know Peruna enough in this time or not?
Look, I've been inside Peruna's head, but I have a quick question for you. I only have 4 skills that I'm half decent at. Athletics, intimidation, medicine, and perception. Would any of those be useful in this situation?
Spook the body
It'd be a
back into,
high DC, but you could shout at the corpse.
You've also just said you have medicine. We're literally trying to bring somebody back.
Yeah, I
You
don't
don't
think
need medicine
medicine
for
is
that,
going
you
to
need
bring
magic.
someone back. I've seen at least one doctor show, and most people who die are just dead.
Said
Fortunately,
that, I thought
medicine is
Dr.
something
Who.
that would be, unless you can think of a creative use for medicine, I need you to tell me what you would like to do in this situation, if you have thoughts on what you want to do. You can repeat the same check someone else did if you so wish, but the DC will be harder than the original persuasion or whatever check.
I've just realised that Odon literally can't scream at the corpse.
Correct. I can only
yes.
mental speak.
Fuck.
Hence why I asked the question, because there's not a lot I can realistically do unless I want to try and like grab the spirit and drag it down with athletics, which doesn't seem
I think
logistically possible.
What you can try with medicine is try to like get the body to be as presentable as possible, like fix fractures, like sew together like any scars and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, she died from being dropped from a height. She
Yeah.
needs fixing.
For
She
the
needs
sake of
milk,
not
yeah.
describing the gore, I'm not going to describe what critical impact looks like.
Des, is there a possibility for me to use athletics in sense of like I sit down, I just sort of had a whole thing with Bison. I meditate and I try and like astrally project my body in a way that I can find Peruna's like soul and just drag it back to the body. Is that allowed?
I would say no. The medicine check isn't a bad idea, but it will be a high DC because it's not something that's directly affecting Pruna's soul, but it is at least a sign of respect to the body, of showing your respect. If you'd like to do medicine.
Can I get advantage because I've been dead before? I know how it feels.
Do you have anything sentimental to Pruna that would be... I don't think Pruna is sentimental to the fact that you died.
You did.
But I understand how it is, though. You know, I
Look,
get
you do
it,
understand
know?
how it is, and you kind of wish you were there with her, but...
It is what it is.
Wait, don't you have? Did I make you a scar, or had I not finished that either?
You hadn't made me a scarf, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Would I be able to know what the DC for the medicine is before I attempt it?
I would set this as a high DC 20.
I don't want to attempt it.
Look, that is fine if you do not feel you are emotionally connected enough to this character, or that you
I would
wouldn't
like
be
to
able...
see what I would roll, but it wouldn't affect it if that's okay.
Look, you can opt
Imagine
out,
you roll nat 20.
so you're forfeiting your roll, and I will be making the
Yep.
final roll. But you,
And I just want to see what the hell happens. Yeah, cool. Good thing I didn't do it. It was an 18.
So that means the flat DC is 18, as the body of Peruna is laid out various
mean
incenses and
8.
8.
DC will be 8.
You said flat
Oils.
DC
You
was
said
gonna be
18.
Yeah.
I was reading.
I
We got scared.
No, DC 8.
I was like, man, I didn't realize it was that hard.
So, as you place the oils across the body and the various druidic focuses you need, I'm not going to let any of you make this roll because that's too much pressure. And I will not use the dice that killed 2 people last time. I'm using a different dice because that dice is blood for the blood gods.
Yeah,
Go first,
don't
go
want
first.
that.
Hello, Siren. We're doing a resurrection check. Thank you for being a thirsty girl in our DMs. Oh, Sharon, this is for a resurrection check. Are you okay with Sharon rolling your resurrection check?
Brilliant look.
Sure.
Go on. Yeah, I see
You
her.
can do it, Sharon. Don't let me die.
What do you mean? Oh,
Sharon straight lied when she said she had excellent luck.
I have really bad luck.
Don't you pull that on
Don't
us?
trust an
what
Irish
is it
woman.
though?
So, as I roll a 2, the oils soak into the body.
I hate everything.
The resurrection doesn't take hold. The soul has found its place in the beyond. Bruna, is there any deity you so wished, or where do you think your soul would have gone? If not, if you don't have one in mind, I can provide.
I don't know quite like if she was really connected to any deity, but she always wanted to go back home, back to the world, and she wasn't ever able to because of other reasons that I could touch on. But so she probably would have wanted to go back there.
So, you remember little of the last few moments, but when your eyes open, you find yourself in the midst of a realm of luscious forest. There's a lady there with a lone lantern and a wide-brimmed hat, ushering you to the afterlife. The realm of Zygolia, Forest of nature. She brings you to where you ever so wish to go. Fortunately for the rest of the raiders, Karuna will not be coming through.
Have fun raising a baby.
I'll make a little hedgehog tattoo on my ankle.
We'll make like a wooden raft or something, and float her out and like Viking funeral.
Why? I thought AJ was going with like we'll make like a banana and split. I'm like, I'm pretty sure bananas exist in this world. It makes so much more sense.
No. like a little barge, just float the body out onto the water and just send her off like a proper Yosgrin raider and just chromatic orb. Just...
Easy enough. So that brings us to the epilogue of the rest of the characters now. There's 4 left alive, standing after Sirmit's fight. Tyrfing gets quite weary as the fight comes to a close and props himself up against the lone tree where the horde is. He tells you to go on. And he likes the view. He sits down to take his final watch. Starting with... I'm going to leave you to last, though, because you got a bit of thinking of what you want to do.
Well, I was going to say, there's one thing while we're still in this area. Thorvid would turn to Odin. I have an offer for you before we leave. We found the materials for reincarnation, so this might be possible, but potentially through the use of the regenerate spell, I could maybe allow you to speak once again. If that is something you would so wish.
Odon sort of thinks about it for a moment, and in your mind you hear, I believe my God would be able to bring me back with my voice. If he has chosen this for me, then this is how I shall live. Thank you, though.
But basically, Odon's like, I'm keeping the thrusting.
He is.
Oh no.
No, Odon is like, my God brought me back like this for a reason, so Odon's gonna fucking stay like this.
AKA, I'm keeping the thrusting.
Cursed.
Yeah, Bison did really say what that thrusty do.
He did.
Not a lot, unfortunately.
Unless there's anything anyone wishes to do in
It's no-
Sirmit's lair. Is there anything we wish to talk about before we get to Asketil?
Yoink.
Yeah, yoink
lot
and
of
try and... I mean,
Bullshit.
there's a dragon corpse just going to waste. Just gonna
Yes.
say.
I will take a tooth from the dragon, of course, and I will yoink some cool shit for my island.
I want to take some hide. I want to get a new cape.
You easily, for the sake
Dragon hide cape.
of loot, you can get many gems, jewels, and weaponry. Many scales, hide, and teeth. That is the easy part. The hard part is figuring out what you're going to do with the rest of your life.
Fuck, that's a mood.
So,
Isn't that the thing in real life too?
it is. Corvallis, start with you then. As you all sail back, is anyone going to bring the child from Dead Shellport back?
Presume, like, Elvid is probably not going to be leaving here.
Thorvid will not be sailing back.
So it's going to be on the other two, unless it is mentioned to Odon beforehand.
Right. As much as this pains me, Asketil, you are probably the one here that could at least do best by this child.
I'm offended.
At least see him to your people on your island and make sure that they can perhaps give them a good upbringing as best as they can.
My prophecy is quite extensive. I didn't really say anything about bringing an ice baby, but
Ice.
yes, an ice baby. But I will make sure that it gets the best possible life there. I do have a lot of influence in the place.
Thank you.
Question, Des.
Yeah.
Do we level at the end of the dragon fight or no? in terms of
What?
epilogue shit.
If it's relevant to your epilogue, you can. What are you trying to do?
Well, my thought was I could potentially, because I'm sure Thorvid, being a wizard, would be aware of the teleportation
not a wizard,
circles being set up by a certain Shadow Fae. I was thinking if I leveled, I could take teleportation circle and then take the child to actual civilization, not Yosgrin.
No, the child is going to Skullscarver Island, where it has normal fucking life. What do you mean?
Is it a
Yeah,
normal
but-
life with a prophecy and shit?
But what if you gets dropped off? But he gets dropped off. Fucking Eleanor. So Eleanor now has 3 kids.
Yeah, that'd be fucking great, man.
By that point, Eleanor is fucking dead. Like,
Look,
it's
I mean-
70 years in the future.
This is
Everyone-
only 25
everyone's-
years in the future.
Raph,
Oh, shit,
everyone's throwing
never
their
mind.
hat in the ring here. Let me throw my hat in the ring here in here as well. I'm gonna take this baby to a religious cult and raise it to be a Jedi. Are you here for that? 'Cause I'm here.
Nice.
See, what Thorvid was saying
On
is
universe.
Asketil has a community that is, by all accounts, very supportive and behind him, so they can help raise the child. It's not just Asketil.
Cool.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
There's more than just
Asketil would not
Asketil.
be the dad.
Yeah.
He would like give, hey, cool people, druids. He's the kid, and they're like,
He's not the
"Fun."
dad. Boogie, boogie, boogie.
Asketil can't be the dad when he's too busy being the daddy.
Oh, nice. I see what you did there. I approve.
So,
Alright, cool.
I'm gonna say for thematic, I like the idea of you all sailing back rather than teleporting back. Because also, you're on a
Yeah.
different plane of existence, technically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where
Oh, but
would
do the thing.
Thorvid's split from us? Where would be the last place we saw him?
At the port. You would see him at the port.
At the point. Okay. I'll give him a hearty hug and say the taverns will sing of your deeds, my friend.
Good. Don't let them forget me.
Yes, Thorvid the wizard. May he have a long legacy.
For fuck's sake. Asketil, good luck with you and your prophecy. You are a mighty warrior, and you have much to come. Corvallis, best of luck to you.
I'm not going to touch you.
I didn't think so. And Odon, I know. You don't
In
know.
your head, you just hear, may Bison watch over you. And you just see a hand come out. It's shaking. He's like real nervous about this.
Aww.
He's better than Corvallis.
Corvallis like pauses a bit beforehand, sees his hand, and just sort of stretches out one of his like forward hands. Like,
Stop it.
shake.
Just in your head, why do you do this to me?
Oh, Corvallis after this.
You go Corvallis first.
Yeah. Probably head back to Yosgrin.
Okay.
Tell the tales of people. He would be fucking atrocious at it. He wouldn't do it nearly as well as Asketil. But he would try to spread the story of the raiders. He'd try keeping contact with everyone. He'd try to find out as much about Peruna as he could, if there were any, like, kids or anything that, you know, so that he could pass on the message if he could find them. But, yeah.
If my memory serves me right, Bruna unfortunately outlived all of her children. So there is
That's a
no
rip.
lineage
Yeah.
left to speak of.
That's why she didn't stay in the world.
Yep. No, he'd tell everyone's story.
You settle back with him. I have a question. What form of Starcraft item did you choose from the vault of the Starskinner vault? Was your reward after all? You can get a quarterstaff made of star metal. You can get whatever you so wish.
I don't recall this at all. Oh god.
It was the promised
Um,
reward for this journey at the very start.
Yeah, I know. I mean, if there was like to replace his elven chain shirt or whatever that he had, if there was one that could be made from the star metal, that'd be kind of cool.
You can get like equivalent of like mithril, but star crafted.
Yeah, that's dope.
Go with the other character that returned to Yosgrin, Asketil. Do you return?
Well,
Do you stay there? Do you go to start your island first? What do you do?
well, after we get to the mainland and we obviously tell of our story and get shit faced, of course he would go back to Skullscarver Isle, where he would present the spoils from the dragon's hoard for his people, and give the child to the druids that raised him as well after his mother died. And after that, I mean, this is just but one in many victories for Asketil. He grows bolder and bolder, and eventually he would travel westward towards the giant's hold in hope to actually go through with his prophecy and kill the king.
So you sail west, past the shatters, looking for, if I remember correctly, Saint Greggy, Saint of Giants, trying to slay a giant on the cusp of godhood. A Jotun giant, the one who unites them. Say Asketil will never be seen from again after he sails west. But for whatever
Sounds like
happens
a-
to him there, we'll not say.
Sounds
I
like
will
a
say though,
one-shot.
before he leaves, would he be able to take the cool weapon as well
Yeah,
from the
you
vault?
get to pick a star metal weapon.
Nice. So before he sets out on his last journey, Asketil would get a spear from that place and leave that for the Ice Genasi baby, as it's their first weapon as it grows up. Because on Skullscarver Island, children learn weaponry very young, so that would be the first weapon for this baby.
You give them a star metal weapon.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, that's sick.
You give a possible 5-year-old child its first weapon a +3 spear. Congratulations.
Hell yeah! It's gonna be such a.
This
It's
is
gonna
gonna
be
be
the
one
best
hell of a
child,
child.
small baby.
Yes. Question.
I'm scared
Ask
for where
Chill.
this baby goes
As you
in.
are the person who bring the child back, the druids ask you, what's his name?
It's a boy, yeah.
It's a boy.
You gotta do it.
Their
I'm
names
gonna
after
I'm
them.
gonna call him Boren.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I will tell them to, like they did with me, record all his deeds, and if the baby does something that is worthy of runic tattoos and memory of the people of our island, to add that to his title, and hopefully someday he will surpass Asketil, the living scripture, son of the twice dead Yngvild, champion of the Skullscarver Island.
So starts the journey of Vorin, the Iceborn.
That's sick.
Oh, Don. As you see the ship sail away, you're left there with Thorvid, who I assume you do not stay around for very long. Or do, I do not know. What do you so wish to do in these times? Deadshell needs a new champion. Your undead nature would give you a very strong resistance to such a disease. There's fights to be done west and east of here, and north of here. What do you do?
Good question. Odon here with creepy friend. Leaves creepy friend later.
Later.
Bye, Felicia.
Generally not sure. I think the way I sort of imagine it is Odon would renounce a lot of the previous sort of stress night vows that he had taken, as from what he understands, the order he was once a part of is now gone. he is going to take up more of a stance of a paladin or a cleric, someone who worships more directly this god who has brought him back to life. Taking up residence in Dead Shell Port, most likely, just trying his best to sort of bring a bit of order to this chaotic land.
Fuck yeah.
You're the champion, and you answer the call. With the aid of the powers granted you by Bison throughout these times, you will find yourself quickly resistant to this disease. And enough spells, when anything you notice a sign, you will be able to deal with. Every few months, a new one arrives. A new mouth to feed. But you do excellent work here. Lastly, but not least, Thorvid. Do you feel compelled to make your way back to the bog?
Oh, do I? Oh, fuck. I don't want to go back to the bog. I had other things in
You
my
are
head.
I don't want to go back to the boat.
I mean, you can always like samurai style off yourself before you get to it.
I was gonna say, like, do I still have
Free will.
free will over my own actions?
Yeah, so you don't have to go. Don't get me wrong. It's not like you feel like you have to go to the bog right now, but there's always like the call of the bog. It's always
Okay.
there. You always know which way it is. You always know how to get back, and you always hear in your mind, "When are we coming home?"
Never. I was gonna say Thorvid would otherwise not too far, probably a bit of a distance from the vampire's house, but not too far of a distance from Dead Shell Port. Thorvid would set up a small hut himself out there in the wilderness of this north and live out the rest of his days there, offering what services he could as a healer to the people of Dead Shell Port. Doing what he can to heal any travelers that pass through. Anyone seeking adventure, he would offer to help heal and do whatever he could. Living the rest of his life as a hermit up in the north.
You do your best.
You're the creepy guy everyone talks about.
Unfortunately, Thorvid, for you, the spinning eye in your head never rests too long. After about 3 weeks, find a home, you build yourself a cabin. Less than a week after you settle in, the ground grows marshy, the ice broke expands. You realize you have to move because if those bogs connect, Kyrian can come and find you.
I think if Thorvid realizes he basically spreads the fog, he would find somewhere peaceful in the middle of the wilderness and choose to end it there, as opposed to let Kieran spread and live his life in constant fear of returning to the bog and to Kieran and be a pawn for whatever abomination he had planned.
You find somewhere beautiful. A druidic grove, long abandoned. It'll be a nice resting place. At least if you let the eye fall here. As long as the bogs don't connect, Kyrian can't come and get it. You end your life.
Ez,
Yes.
this could be a wild request. Can I D100 for something spicy? As living up here, Odon wouldn't have stopped praying for the friend he made who is corrupted.
What exactly is it you're trying to beseech of Bison?
Essentially for Bison to watch over until the time is right and to act in the same way he did upon Odon.
Gonna be, if you roll a 1, I'll consider.
I roll a 1.
Very
Why
spicy.
not?
Let's
I had a
go.
thought as Raph was talking. I'm like, this could be interesting. That is far from a 1.
What'd you roll?
62.
62.
Yeah, that's far from one.
I would say in his final moments, Thorvid would just cast plant growth over himself to just have a tree cover his body
Oh,
Nice.
in a
That's
nice grove
sick.
somewhere.
As
Fucking
the
sick.
heroes of Yosgrin take their ways of different paths. Thorvid tries to make sure his best that Kyrian cannot get this eye. he'll wait for another group, perhaps another time. The hunger grows, but never ends. That is the final we hear of the heroes of Yosgrin.
Yay!
That's the epilogue done. So now we know where each character went, what they did, how they did it, or the such. And we're going to talk. Not unlike last time, we've got arcs to talk about. But I'm going to split up into 2 arcs. I'm going to talk pre-Aban and post-Aban.
Yeah.
Because
That
I
makes
feel like
sense.
that was a very much so like halfway point, if memory serves me right. In this 10 sessions,
or less,
Aban
yeah.
was about 5.
Fuck, I think so.
So I suppose what happened in this first half is you sailed north. You met an awful lot of interesting faces and folk as you made your way there. The ship barely made it to Dead Shell, but made it back for the sake of story. But you made your way. You met such characters as Scalagrim and Tyrfing and Aban the Inscrutable. We never really figured out what a Longhorn was. Still to this
we still
day.
don't know.
But I am
You
curious.
hamstring a longhorn.
Yeah,
That's what I
so
wanna know.
we're going to just go what we've done last time. What was everyone's favourite moment from the first up to Aban arc? That stage we still had Vorin, which, rest, but now reliving in the Iceborne.
I will say I really liked the tavern scene in the very beginning when we were just figuring out how much of an asshole everyone is. And,
That really set the tone for what I realized I was running.
Yeah, that was a fun episode for sure.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I think in those early days, just the start of our journey into the north, into the frozen north, just the picture that was set for us of that journey, of the eye of the waters slowly becoming more frozen over, of the ice appearing everywhere, and just really taking on board what we were setting into. Like the scene was set so perfectly for the rest of the story there. That
A
was
bunch of
I did-
assholes
really well
getting
done.
cold.
Look, I definitely set out with the intent of Vikings, great inspiration, but ended up realizing it's more Goonies.
I mean, yeah.
Yep.
Um,
I really liked the whole fucking sea dragon thing. Just us
Yeah.
going, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. Oh wait, hang on.
that's the
what I
baby.
was gonna say.
Yeah, that was sick. Just the whole build up to, oh, this is gonna be a big combat, guys, and then the dragon talks to us and we're like, hang on, what?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
You can, Jen. You can.
You can extend that if you have anything else you wish to add. Or disagree.
Oops.
What's up,
We have
Corvallis?
lost an AJ.
I'm Baraf now.
I'm still Dungeon Master.
Yeah, you are.
Onion Master, yeah.
Onion Master.
I am Peruna. I am Little
Word,
Hedgehog.
Karina.
Oh,
Oh,
Past tense. But we still have you
Wow.
here. AJ's gone for now, but we'll get him back shortly. But there's Jen.
Oh.
So,
Oh, there.
what about the? I know you just like trying to collect pets, but what about the sea dragon?
I just thought it was so cute and endearing that like he was just like a little kid basically. It was just like I'm so interested in this. Like what's going on? Can I have your boat? Like I just thought it was so cute and sweet, and it was nice to get to see like in a campaign we were basically like sent to deal with the dragon, like to have it start like really kind of like start off with like other dragons that ended up being nice.
The good dragons.
Nice.
Hmm.
Any favorite moment from the first half as Vorin?
it's just every fucking moment I got to play as Vorin. I loved every fucking second of Vorin.
Yeah.
I love
Vorin is definitely going into my list of top tier favorite characters I've played. And it does, as Dario said, it stems from that first tavern scene where I got to introduce Vorin with the most Vorin way I could think of, which is to start a brawl, have it lead to someone's death, and him just book it out of there.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, such a shit stirrer.
we got to talk a little bit about the elephant in the room, because we are a group full of shippers, and Vascadil or I don't know what the couple name was going to be because I never got that far, but I love that moment on the trip back from Abans when the Lord of the Elemental Plane of Fire showed up and he's like, yeah, let's party. And Odon
Yeah.
gets no Odon. Vorin gets blackout, ass to the sky, drunk, and just drinks the souls. Like that entire scene in Avons is great.
Yeah.
Just the degenerate that was Vorin, and I love that for the first half. It's just something we haven't really seen from like since we played live. That we've seen Cade be like the leader of the group. Like, and I really thought it was really interesting to see you like, even though Vorin was like this. Like, we can't deny it. Vorin was a shitter. Like, absolute. But, like,
Oh,
the
yes.
moments of, like, the duality where he switched to, like, you know, it's serious time, let's talk business. And I thought that was really nice to see from you, Kate. Other than our favourite moments, though.
Like I said, Vorin was, as Vorin said specifically, he started drinking when he was like 5 years old, so, you know.
You all met some interesting NPCs along the way. You know, some more kind to you than others. Some kicked the shit out of you more than others. Some were more petty than others.
Yeah.
But I'm curious what everyone's, you know, who did you hate to love the most, and who did you love to hate the most? I'm pretty sure the love to hate the most is easy for all of you in the first half.
That's easy. Yeah.
Kieran, 100%.
No, this is first half. This is up to
Tyrion.
Iban.
It's so fun.
This is up to Iban.
Oh,
Well,
this is
okay,
about-
I
Okay.
really liked the Warren's dad. I really liked that
Yeah.
the insistence turned into sort of kind of canon, and
Exactly.
you went with it, and like
It's
the
canon.
fishing scene. Yeah, the fishing scene was so nice, so
Mhm.
cute, you know.
It was
Yeah,
wholesome as fuck.
Skelligrim and Varin, there's this little relationship. It's so sweet.
Yeah.
and who-
I really liked Topham. The
Or Topham.
the like really old guy. really
The
old
one that
giant
was
who helped us.
sad that people didn't invite him to orgies. That one, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
the whole
Yes.
orgy
Yeah.
going. That was
The
great.
guy who hasn't spoken
Yeah.
like 60 odd years, and you all rock up.
We all rock up talking about orgies. And it's like, what the fuck?
The world.
Yeah, that was great.
You just kind of like, this is a vibe.
Such a vibe.
Look, for me, it's a big shout out to our most dependable of allies and of people we met, which is Tiffing. Just
Oh, yeah.
someone who supported us and just gave us so much help along the way, and was such an interesting character with his whole backstory of being the ex-Hold King of Yosgrin, having come up here, and just someone who could be a bit of, you know, a bit more serious and focused when the party was a bit of a group of shitters.
He was the adult, yes.
He was the adult when Thorvid gave up and just resigned himself to sitting in the back and not doing anything. So no, I appreciated Turfing there, just being like the straight one of the group. Just playing off that.
Here's this tree.
Yeah,
The best NPC of the
that's
game, the tree.
the tree.
The unbeatable CR 500.
Although there
Oh, I did
also
promise you
needs
the
to be
stats
a
to that
special
tree.
mention. Oh yeah.
Mhm.
True.
Mhm.
So the tree had a flat AC 30. It had
Why?
500 HP
No,
and resistance to all
that's not how
non-magical
trees
damage.
work. That's not how trees work, you bitch. Now,
What's
I
the
might
tree?
not be. Listen, I might not be a biologist, but that sounds like fuckery to me.
It's a magic tree in the elemental plane of ice. It's petrified. You gotta deal with it.
Yeah.
I disagree.
Its standing
Really?
HP at the end was in the realm of 431.
I mean, I did like respectable damage. It's fine though. It's fine because at the end we squashed our beef, right? We ironed out our differences. We understood each other.
That was so funny.
In the first arc,
Look, if you
a bit of a sorry.
if you'd managed to bring the tree below 200 HP, the treant would have woke up.
Oh, oh. So I suppose you're welcome that I suck, guys. You're welcome.
Thanks.
What it sounds to me is we have to go back in time and just go fucking town this tree.
The
Yeah.
AC
Lift
30,
this tree to the dragon.
200 HP left. Treant starts vibing.
It's like, what do you want?
Just lure the tree into the dragon. Let them fight. I was going to say, though, we do have to remember a fallen companion who we met in the first half, which was Boldigo.
Yeah.
Mm,
Oh,
He's cute.
So
Best
sweet and so
character.
cute.
Yeah.
yeah.
Very much so. For Ron, I can't remember if you answered your favorite NPC from the first half.
I have not answered yet, but it's currently a toss-up between Skelegrim, also known as my dad, and Iban, also known as my uncle, who allows me to drink. You know.
I think we're also
The
forgetting
enabler.
Also,
the most
I
important
just
NPC,
want to honorable
Icebox.
mention Icebox. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, that's
Okay,
after a bunch.
That's-
So
that's after
Also,
that.
Icebox didn't allow me to drink 7 fucking soul shots or whatever I was allowed to drink.
Yeah,
For
that was
free, by the
hilarious.
way, for free.
That you know of.
Speaking of the moments after Iban up to the end of Sirmith, things got a little bit darker. You know, the stakes got a little bit harder. The fights got a little bit more intense as the further east you got, the CRs and the DCs went up. We met again a lot of interesting characters throughout this time. You know, we met ghost dragons, we met ancient vampires, we met a big clan of giants that oofed you. So I suppose we'll start with favorite moments up to the moment of killing Sirmith. Again, whoever would like to go first. Jen, if you want to go first, make sure yours can't get stolen this time.
I love the vampire lady.
I was so close to saying vampire.
I
Do you?
really liked her.
Do
I do.
you?
I liked her. I just really liked her. I wanted to get to know her more. I know we couldn't because of the game, but like, there's so much about her I didn't know and I wanted to.
Hello.
Look, I have a thick hit of vampire lore in my setting. We just got to get to it.
Yeah.
We just
Yeah,
got
you
out of a
Back
big
to it,
vampire game.
technically.
Get back to it.
We just, Dora, you remember the vampire game we just got out of?
Oh yeah. Remember? Yeah, that was a great game. Yeah.
Yeah, we just got out of it.
Kate literally has a tattoo of a vampire character. Like, that's how long it was.
Just real subtle, just.
It was 50
Definitely
weeks
over
of
a
it.
year ago.
But yeah, so now that you're
Is
one
his
of us,
favorite NPCs?
favorite moment we're doing first. NPC can land in
Okay.
here, but favorite moment to begin with.
That's tough, actually.
Well, I do have something. I really liked. This is both. Well, it's not favorite NPC, but it's both favorite moment and a question I had.
Okay.
Like the only question I had for this entire game. So I really liked the moment where we met this awkward snowman.
Yeah.
Who was like, "I'm not here. I'm a bush," and that's it. That was cute, but I want to know what was that and like what could have been essentially. Like, what the
So-
fuck was that?
So the essential long and short of that is the snow elemental was very similar to like the way you guys had a relationship in the world. You'd shown very much so respect to your past through the elemental plane of thing, and it saw you sleeping in a very unadvantageous area. So it was like it kind of be watching you. Like if you think of it, your journey, there was this little snowball following you the entire time that eventually got bigger and bigger until you
Aw.
saw it. Like it started out as like a snow puff
Aw.
and it got huge because it kept moving.
That's
Because it was
so
just a
cute.
curious little creature, and it was watching you the entire time. I was like, these people are pretty cool. And the way you interacted with Icebox influenced it an awful lot. So it tried to build you an igloo, and then you tried to pee on it. And then-
Yeah, it's so cute, and I tried to fucking make it yellow. This sucks.
That's great.
Happens you play asshole characters.
I mean, yeah.
I reckon my favorite bit of the second arc was when we were captured by the giants, and Corvallis was just being an absolute prick to was it Ursuk, the druid, or the shaman or
Yep.
whatever?
Yeah, that was Ursik.
Just being an absolute dick to him, just like just the spears of earth or whatever the fuck that spell was, and just constantly just being a dick.
Yeah, I very much so expected you guys to approach. I suppose it's just something as a DM you never, like I knew you guys were going to have to run in that situation, but I never once thought you would leave everything behind. Like try and like no equipment, just like because you definitely prioritized and got the least amount of casualties you could from that situation. Because you have to remember we got there off the back of a total party wiped unconscious, which that's dangerous territory.
I think we handled it like professionals. Yeah, we have a mission, and it was definitely like the mission is paramount, and who survives or not. Like we know it's a suicide mission either way, so it definitely is a sacrifice I was willing to make. But no, actually, if Asketil was there to see that Warren is the one staying, then it might have been a little bit different. But it is what it is.
So, Corvid, have you answered first what your favorite moment was?
In the second half,
In the second half. You need a minute. I can call on Warren first. / O'Donnell in this arc.
Yeah, look, maybe. Although, actually, you know what? I do have to say, I think... although this kind of intersects with character stuff, I do think the entire section of reaching the dragon and that finishing part to it, although it's like, yeah, and it's the end and, we'll finish there, I do think that was probably my favorite.
Yeah,
And then it just had some really good NPC moments, had some fantastic moments between the party, and good combat, good sort of puzzles and adventure type stuff. It was just a combination of everything that just really...
It was
really
just D&D.
Yeah, that being said, though, I did also really enjoy our whole escape. While obviously it was like not the best moment for happiness.
Really?
It was a very memorable moment. The whole escape from the giant prison. Just the whole thing beforehand with the jailer and the chief, and then breaking out, the desperate running into the snowstorm. Yeah,
it was very interesting. And last but not least, you've got two characters in this arc, Vorin / O'Donnell.
I had two characters in this arc. It's a hard one for me to pick, because there is, as you said, a lot of stuff that happened.
Yeah,
and stuff that happened to two separate characters as well. So
you can have one for each.
I'm just going to pick one for each. I'll start with O'Donnell, as he is the one that's more prevalent on people's minds. To give some context to the way I played O'Donnell in the bog, my headcanon was his entire troop was wiped out by some creepy abomination similar to this creature that we saw. So I played O'Donnell as terrified, but not sure why. And I found that to be quite an interesting thing to do. And it was fun. I enjoyed, as much as I fucking hated Kieran, because fuck that thing, it was creepy, it was interesting, if nothing else.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could tell, I had a lot of fun with Kieran.
No, we could tell. We could tell.
Yeah.
I had a slight preference for him. And for Vorin, what was your favorite moment?
There is so many different moments for Vorin. Like, Vorin, as I've said, it's going to go down as one of my favorite characters to play. I fucking loved him.
Yeah.
Got from, like, him creating the Asketil. That was a cute little moment. His sort of, like, acceptance of what he had to do to get the rest of them to live was tough, but it was tough, but it was, as far as Vorin had come, it was very much a Vorin thing to do. There was a lot of Vorin moments that I just thoroughly enjoyed, and I could pick any of them. Honestly, just go through all the episodes of the thing and just pick a scene where Vorin's talking. I probably like that moment.
I gotta answer. One of my favorite moments is probably one of the darkest, but it was very memorable for the tone of the campaign changing very much. Is the death scene for Vorin in this part of the campaign? The being held underwater, and you're just like, I just start inhaling. It's just take this ceremony out of it, because it's a brutal way to be executed. Like, if you think like you fit in this thing's hand and it's just like submerged, it's an awful way. And I think you took it like a champ, and I just think the way it was like presented to you, I was very proud of. Death scenes are harsh to handle, and I think I handled it best as I could.
Vorin ain't giving them enjoyment. Fuck those guys. They're killing them.
It was a badass way to go. I will say that, though, Cade reminded me about the Asketil, and we coming back with the ship where this whole thing was. Would it be possible to popularize this new ale in Yosgrin, though?
I would say the manic mind that was Vorin's craft of creation. No, there would be mimics, but nothing would really emulate the original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
it's slightly different brew, but it's not as gonna be good as first
Oh.
batch.
Are we talking about like our favorite moments for each character? Because I do
We
remember
will
something
be after
for
the
that.
favorite
Okay.
NPCs of this arc. So up
Mhm.
from Ivan leaving, going back, Icebox, and Kyrian and such. We don't have that many NPCs to talk about, but we do have stuff like Zethos, the Ghost Dragon and such to talk about favorite NPCs of the second half. If anyone would like to shout out first, by all means.
Kyrian.
Kyrian.
I absolutely hated Kyrian, but I loved his character so much. He creeped me the fuck out, and he freaked me the fuck out.
Actually,
But I loved and appreciated the character and how much effort and just focus you put into playing him. Like, you played him
yeah.
so well that he
Yeah,
came
great
across
job.
as being so convincingly just
We got it right.
creepy and such an abomination.
It was great. We're talking campaign wrap up
I
here,
love the
GM Workshop.
potato!
You guys
Hey.
doing you guys doing more D&D stuff? You doing a Play As You Go again this week, or what were you up to? D&D again. How'd it go? What was your
Potato?
session about? They do have a
That's
potato.
a potato.
They do.
I love the
Yeah.
potato!
You caught us at an interesting time. We're talking about the wrap up campaign we just had there. We were doing a small campaign, and we're doing a pretty big campaign coming up next. Start date maybe next week. We just have to confirm that at the end with the rest of us. I will be announcing everything, and yeah, just keep an eye on our socials for all that. I can plug them in the chat for people who are curious. But this is the end. We're just talking. We're talking our favorite moments. It's been a great blast. Oh, Twitch plays D&D. Nice. How did it go? Anyone die? What monsters did you face? But yeah, I think to add on to your moment there, Raph, of Kyrian being one of your favorite NPCs, I gotta add my favorite moment. Well, one of my favorite moments would be the resurrection of Thorvid.
Yes.
And you're like, is he
Yes.
ready? Like, where is he? And Kieran just pokes his head on the bag. He's like, oh, first time traveling through the bog. It's gonna be a minute. And it's just awful.
Which,
Like,
like,
the entire
get?
like the whole I want to take you apart wrong so I can figure out where things aren't meant to be.
That was
Hate it.
fucked. That was
Yeah.
fun. To be at the
Yeah.
receiving end of that was disgusting.
The
but also
Body
cool.
hoarder 0 to 10. Can't.
Yeah.
It was great.
I mean, it is very nice just to see when the DM really enjoys playing a character, because
Yeah.
that just translates very well into a colorful person.
It was very
Yeah, you
very
brought the
cute.
same energy. You brought the same energy to Kyrian that you brought to Kahal.
God, that's a throwback. That's a
Like-
long
Yes, names
like-
we all know, of course.
like that
Yeah.
sort of like
Yeah,
manic
we all-
enjoyment that you had.
character that
You
fucks the
remember
animal.
Cahal, right, Daria?
I can remember
Yeah,
he's pronouncing
I
that
remember
name
why.
completely wrong because it's Cahill.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Kyle.
Carl.
So, favorite NPCs
Go.
of this campaign, though. Who
Yeah.
would like to shout next? You got Thorvald's
Icebox.
Icebox.
Icebox. I loved him. I just love cute, like one-off characters that like come in, be cute, and leave, and I'm like, oh, I love
They
you.
just they leave the heart wanting.
Yes,
I
and
think-
I really liked the King of Ifrits as well.
Yeah.
That guy was fun, and the
partied
fact
hard.
that he partied hard and he completely thought that we are not cool enough to party with
Yeah.
him. That stabbed me right in the chest. I'm like, oh, why?
It stabbed you
did
right in the
say
chussie.
this? No, there will be no
No.
chussie talk today.
Stop
No.
adding Ussy to the end of word.
Today, we are changed people, okay? We're not talking about throssies, chussies, or anything like that. So we're mature.
Any other Ulsies?
Nah. I
I'm not
reckon.
mature. I just don't want to add Ussy to the end of all the words now.
I reckon that my favorite NPC was Zethos
Okay.
because
That's really
she was
cool.
just like so.
An undead dragon for the new people.
Yeah, it was the spirit of a dragon. But she was weirdly at peace, but also not at peace at all because, you know, giants killed her and took her son. But, like, she was weirdly okay with everything that had happened. And yeah, she was just fun to talk to, even to the point where she's like, alright, fuck off now. And we decided to take a long rest. That was fun.
That was a misunderstanding on my part.
That was a
Yeah.
if you need help, take it from my old hoard, whatever was left, and you're like, okay,
Yep.
we're also gonna just make a bed, like we see a bit of scrap of linen. We're tired. There were some remorazes at the
Yeah.
bottom. We're just gonna.
Look, all I'm saying is we put our Minecraft bed next to hers and she didn't complain. That's all I say.
Show me the good eye.
Mm.
Yeah, to answer that question, we got in the chat. No, we're not all different streamers. We're just part of the Big Elder Scribe Happy Family, where I DM for these bunch of wonderful people.
There's a different word for that in Aussie, but anyway.
Ah, yes, in Aussie it's grand folk, right?
You're right there, Chief.
Question I had there for you, Des, in kind of regarding Zethos. What were the odds of us managing to talk down the dragon at the end if we had the stones with us and we were
So,
actually
if you did
able
not
to
get
use them?
captured,
Yes.
you did not, you had the stone. Sirmith is for the initial part would have been in a rage seeing you. You would have had to at least bring Sirmith below half, but then if you'd gotten through that and managed to get Sirmith to land or at least be on the ground, via like a sentinel attack from Asketil, that would be, the opportunity to do the message. But it's just at that time, the way the cards had fallen, it was a.
But
Just,
would have there been a high chance of it actually working had we done it?
I would have said it like a fairly you guys don't have a great persuasion amongst you, so it would have been like
Nope.
just a DC 12 check along with that to like at least
Excuse me.
stop and talk.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Did you just
Yeah.
say we don't have good persuasion in this group?
I said you don't
Take
have
that
great
back.
persuasion. You have good persuasion. You just don't have Eleanor plus 11.
That is true. Plus
Unable
11
to
is
roll
it's
over to a 10 or
not
whatever.
all she has, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would have only been DC 12, so like you guys would have had a modifier. It would have been attainable, but it would have been a conversation that could have easily flipped back into combat depending on how it went.
Yeah.
Who else would like to throw out their favorite NPC?
I can do two. One I love to hate and hate to love.
Yeah, we want them both.
Love to hate is the vampire lady. As much as I love your vampire love from previously, fuck that bitch.
Yeah, not all the vampires are going to be vibes.
She was a pain in the ass, and it felt super fucking frustrating to talk to her because she was helping us. Admittedly, she didn't need to. She was helping us none at all. And maybe it was a part of the fact that we're just trying to get information over us, and she was like, yeah, what? It was just so frustrating to talk to her, and fuck that bitch. But also, hate to love, hate the fact that I like Kiri. What?
Yeah.
Of course you
Yeah,
do.
I think
Of course you do.
I'm curious how Vorin would have reacted to Kyrian.
Honestly, Voron probably would have been confused and just assumed it was something he was seeing in his drunk, constantly just out of his mind sort of head. It was like, haven't seen that before? Fuck, alright, anyway.
Yeah, there was a lot of Kyrian moments for me, like sneak cuddling Asketil. That was a great one. It was awful, just like
Is it... Question, is it cuddling if Kirian's arms wrap 3 times around?
It's the best cuddling.
it's,
Cool. Just checking.
It's like
you
the
are
most
the
cursed
little
Asketil
spoon,
Kyrian
he's the
burrito.
Spaghetti, okay.
Yeah, cool. I
It's like
figured.
being hugged by spaghetti.
Yeah, that's.
For
that's
reference
nice.
there.
I mean, you did choose wisely because Asketil's the only person who would not be creeped out by this.
Yeah, you played into it, so I played into it. And for reference, just talking about a bit of stuff there for the Raiders. Sirmith was the boreal dragon. It's basically this fuzzy dragon that resides in like an elemental plane of ice. It can shoot fire, it can wrap its body in fire, and it tried to wreck house on the party and got equally wrecked. Kyrian is an emaciated skeletal creature, an abomination of my machination that I had too much fun playing to creep the players out.
It
Yeah,
worked.
pretty much.
It worked.
Mm.
As for that's our favorite moments from like each arc, the main 2 arcs, because it was only a 10-session campaign. It's fairly short. Our wrap-ups are normally a bit longer, but we've one last sort of topic that I want to talk about is our favorite moments of each character throughout the entirety. And I hope you've all written examples, because I sure have. I swear. I will start. We'll start. Let's give praise to Thorvid first. So I had an awful lot of enjoyment seeing Thorvid try and be the dad of the group and then realize he wants to be the distant dad of the group who doesn't want to be a part of this family anymore. And then how
Lick the milk.
I think because it's fresh in my memory though, the fucking way you decided to not let me have my fun with the bog and just decide Thorvid ends his own life, I just respect belief.
Yeah.
Like other than that, I think you were like the backbone of the group in combat because the healing after Vorin left, it's just like you dropped 2 heals in that fight. Like you were essential to this group, and like the respect you'd shown to the world. I liked how you played the character overall. And just your approach to it was very interesting.
Thank you.
I really liked how cinematic you made your like last defiance of Kyrian. Like the adding the tree, that's just
Yeah.
beautiful imagery. That's very nice. So as a character, Thorvid was quite like distant in a lot of our shenanigans, but having like the strength of character at the end there, that's just nice. It's epic.
Yeah, it's
You
really
really-
good.
Thank you.
You really cracked the knuckles and went, wow.
Yeah, I can say as the war buddy when I was playing Vorin.
No, we kind of went with that story.
I did really enjoy like the way you took this sort of grizzled veteran and just sort of took it and saw this just group and you're like, all right, I'm on my back to go. Let's go.
Yeah.
Too much for this shit, yeah.
Solo Q King.
Yeah.
Yeah. I reckon Thorvid's energy was just like constantly exasperated. Just like, oh, what the fuck have I got to deal with now? Like that sort of vibe. But yeah, I just loved the whole stoic, like, what are these fuckers up to? Sort of. It was fun.
Yeah, it felt like Thorvid went on his what should have been his last adventure 3 adventures ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much
That's
so.
what I was trying to go with. Just someone who's definitely on his last adventure, doing one last hurrah for the good of Yosgrin.
Yeah,
Um,
they
I
had
kinda
Until
like-
retirement.
I definitely envisaged when I created Thorvid, I definitely envisaged the campaign to be much more of a serious,
Same.
more of a serious
Same.
Yeah,
Absolutely
Thorvid was
fucking
created in
same.
mind for a serious campaign of like this veteran of all these previous wars and raids, like going on his final one. And then they come to this thing of these bunch of absolute shitters, and it was fun. It was fun.
Runa was such like a weird like middle ground because like
Yeah.
she very easily like got to get a little bit carried away, but like her and herself was kind of a weird character. But I loved like her react, like her and like Thorvid were kind of like the older, like more like chill people of the group, and then you just had everyone else.
Yeah, I was the mum and dad of the group.
To
Yeah.
expand on
Yeah.
that a little bit, one of my favorite Thorvid moments is Raph there looking at his sheet like, okay, I'm prepping these spells, and Jen's like, so Thorvid, this, and that, and you're like,
Oh yeah, that.
and then
that
Runa goes
moment.
again.
It was in character. I might
It
add.
was so.
Yes,
It was an
totally was.
accident, but it was so in character. You're just like, what?
Yeah. Mhm. He's sleeping. He's like old man sleeping with his eyes.
Just resting his eyes there real quick.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
everyone
No,
else-
it's fine. That was just a personal attack against against me from Raph. It's cool.
Look,
Yeah, no,
It was
100%.
painful to wait through that
If it wants
pause.
to make you feel better,
Look.
then the scarf. Thorvid wore Peruna's scarf right until his final moments, and it's just wrapped around sort of the base of the tree, one of the roots.
fuck. Now
That's
that
cute.
like,
That's cute.
why'd you have to go and fuck my heart up like that? Come on.
We're gonna take a quick
Yeah,
2-minute
talking
cry break,
shit.
and we'll be back. So that's our favorite Thorvid bits. Unless anyone has any extra bits they wish to add, or Thorvid, do you have any? What's your favorite Thorvid bit? What's your own favorite bit of the
Oh.
character?
Look, I do think the whole emerging from the bog, that part there with Kyrian, was definitely up there. But as bad as it sounds, I think his death as well. Just that, not just the death, but the whole build-up, although it was done very much in the epilogue sense, just him trying to have that peaceful end, and then Kyrian denying it to him, so just saying fuck you to Kyrian, and going out on his own terms without doing any more harm to what he saw as being the natural order of everything.
Let's talk Varin first, then Odon. Because we got 2 characters to talk about with Kate here. And I'll kick us
Of
off.
course we do.
Yeah, of course we do. My favorite moment of Varyn is Cade's perpetual need for me to play his father figure as Scalagrim or any other NPC. It somehow ends. I always end up being a father figure to Cade. I don't know why, or parental mother or whatever figure. But the fishing trip where you're in the boat and Scalagrim's literally standing in the water, being like,
Yeah, the fucking
It's
great
just-
fishing rod.
yeah.
No, it's no
Listen,
accident, Des. It's no accident.
I know.
D&D is the cheaper version of therapy, okay? So you know what Cade needs in his life.
Cheaper. These dice sets are expensive.
Maybe for you, Fox, but I don't know. You know what I spend on you, Fox.
Cookie
but
says you are
speaking-
the father.
Yeah, I mean, true.
I am.
But also, I have a very specific moment I just really enjoyed. I mean, Askedil and Vorin had a lot of fun moments because they were like very chaotic whenever they were up like and awake at the same time. But I enjoyed that we, without any like prompting towards each other, without any planning, decided to completely gaslight Peruna into thinking that nothing happened in the night. Nothing wrong was there. It was
Yeah.
all us. And I just liked Jen was like, what about the sound? We're like, what sound? Like, what do you mean? And fucking Kate goes, we're gaslighting you. Like, hello, how are you?
It was so good. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
It
What
feels
is
like that
D&D
was
if
a
you can't gaslight your
suggestion
friends?
spell.
It's command gaslight.
Power word gaslight.
Technically, it's one word, so you know it counts.
I loved this was way back towards the start, but when that cult came and attacked the boat, and unless I had a fever dream, but like
No, you're right.
yeah, Vorin put the fucking like the head of the cult in the tankard and was like, down boy.
Keep that for the rest of the fight.
Yeah,
Pushed
yeah.
him off the edge of the ship as well.
That was so good. That was just like, yeah, that's about right for a beer cleric. Just no.
Yeah. Also, I think a great moment was drinking the souls, literal souls of innocent, imported from the regions of hell.
Hmm.
Yeah, that sounds like something you would do.
Yeah, that's a Tuesday.
You gotta try everything once. Every alcohol once before you die, you know?
Other than we've
I
got-
think for me, for Vorin, although it's kind of been said already, just any moment where Vorin and Asketil were together was just pure
Yeah.
gold. Just
Yeah.
it's although it has to be said, the moment of their partying and their drinking, and then just getting tattoos and all manner of degenerate.
It was just a lads' weekend for them, wasn't it?
It was great. It was just a lads' weekend, and it was fantastic to watch. I loved every second of it.
Yeah.
Although I will say, I think potentially my favorite Vorin moment is also the saddest, with Vorin in the cage holding off, trying just to give enough time for his friends to get out.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the most memorable, although not as happy and cheerful as his moments with Asketil, but definitely most memorable.
Yeah.
Just Vorin's sacrifice so that we could get out.
Bruna
Yeah,
having
yeah.
to leave him was awful.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And just
Yeah,
the
yeah.
defiance until the end in the face of the chief.
Yeah, look, it was great. Kate, I'm gonna ask you something. We'll get to O'Donnell in a second, but what was your favorite Varyn moment?
I'll just pull up any scene that I'm talking as Vorin in and just pick that. If I was to nail it down to one concrete moment that really, in my mind, defined who Vorin was at his core, past all the drunken bullshit he would go through, he was a character who loved his friends, and his ending, basically lying to Peruna to try and comfort her to leave, was such a Vorin moment to just make sure she was safe.
Not happy about it.
It was raw. It was really raw.
Yeah.
But it was a beautiful. Oh,
As a character, he was built from the ground up to be a pure support who was to support his friends, and he died how he lived. As simple as
So,
that.
we have a great question that's come in there before we get to the next characters. Is Juk asked via tip, thank you for the $12, but how did each player come up with their characters? So, if anyone knows this off the top of their head, they can go first, or I can wait to call on you. AJ.
So I had this idea for the character back during the meat grinder section of the campaign before we started streaming.
Yes.
So we'd gone through. Des was, I think, trying the tables that were supplied by wizards or something, like just trying a different roll table for encounters, and we were basically going through like just potential TPK after potential TPK. And so I was like, okay, let's have a look. Saw the Doom Croaker, and I thought, let's just have an old bastard as a wizard. That'll be a bit fun, won't it? And yeah, Corvallis was born.
Good times, good times.
Yeah.
I remember them fondly.
Great times, yeah.
Yeah, I quickly abandoned.
Okay,
Thankfully, Daria and Jen didn't need to figure that one out when I was experimenting with different ways of. And I went back to my old way very quickly after about 4 sessions.
Nice. Thank you for that.
Dangerous.
Well, I do have a very easy answer to how I came up with Asketil, because I just was thinking, well, I want to play after Eleanor, who's a very like support-oriented person. I wanted a DPS. I wanted someone who's like tanky, upfront, just punching, and that's it. Yeah. And I was thinking, how do I play a fighter but not get like severely bored? And I just decided to like build a Hercules type, but a Hercules that like believes his own hype. Yeah, his abysmal wisdom score with a -2. I was like, that is his Achilles heel. Like the reason he is so like sniffing his own ass and like very much into his own everything. I'm so cool. It's not because he loves himself so much. It's because he was told from his birth that he is this prophesized incredible warrior, and because he cannot distinguish the truth from what people tell him, he believes it wholeheartedly. And if he stops, like his whole world crumbles. This internal journey did not really come up through the story, but it did help me personally to have some interesting like things in my head as we play. So that was like fun to try and do, because he's very comedic, but also like if you think about it, it's quite sad.
Yeah. You've got 3 left, or
As
2
is
to count.
kind of been said for me already, the idea behind Thor is I really wanted to create just an older character, just someone on the very last end of their adventuring career, someone who had been through a lot already, and just this was their last hurrah, this was their last moment. I just really wanted to create a character that encapsulated that, going on something glorious to try and finish their ode off, try and go down in a blaze of glory if it came to that. But yeah, and the druid part is kind of slotted into that when thinking about the whole concept of more of a Norse themed campaign, and just came together.
So Pruna, do you want to go next?
Sure. I guess this is my first time playing like a martial class ever in D&D. So I wanted to try it. I wanted to try something new, but I also knew like that I just didn't have like the brain power to learn like a bunch of stuff or something. So I was hoping that monk would be like a nice like kind of midway, and then I was wrong. But I wanted a cute character, but like after Aura being like very like young and impressionable and stuff, I wanted someone who was a little bit like still very like upbeat and happy, but who kind of like knew her own vibe, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a great character. And Kate, I know how you created one of your characters, because when I killed Vorin, you were toying around with a completely different idea, and I go, "Yo, you want to play one of your own homebrew you've been designing?" And you were like, "Yes, yes, sir, I do."
I was like, "Excuse you, this was an option before. Let me in that."
So how did you come up with both characters?
Well, obviously we'll start with Voron because that is the definitely the better one for
Chronological.
sure, 100%. Definitely for sure better. Yeah, 100%. They were both just on a whim, realistically. Voron originally started off as a completely separate character. It was originally a paladin who was taking after sort of like your Valkyries and stuff like that. But after realizing what our group had and specifically didn't have, I sort of changed my mind and went looking at cleric subclasses. Came across the beer cleric, and really it was just a fever dream from that point forward. I just made a character who had lost basically everything, found himself at the bottom of an empty ale mug, and was just like, "What the fuck am I doing?" And then he became a godlike character, believing that the ale that he was drinking was the best, and got along really well with Asketil because of that. Yeah, like, Foreign was a character that I honestly didn't put as much thought into as I've done previous characters, and that's probably what made me have, in my own mind, freedom to do a lot more weird stuff.
Yeah.
And Odon.
And Odon, he is a subclass of a thing that I had been writing. I've got a whole heap of those bad boys that I cranked out like a goddamn nerd.
Not me. I'm
But
not
Odon, Odon, he spawned originally from an idea that I had, that I was sort of toying with, which was the idea of a character who had previously died, as Odon did, but was instead of resurrected as the Stress Knight fighter, was supposed to be an Asima resurrected as a celestial warlock. When Des obviously gave me the potential to play one of my subclasses, that entire warlock subclass, that whole thing didn't exist. No thoughts, head empty. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Yeah, look, you kind of talk with her. For those of you that do want to know where you can find the Stress Knight, though, I've tweeted out on our Twitter, or if you check our About section, you can join our Discord. I do not talk about that enough, and it's on there. We've talked about it on the Discord, we've talked about it on Twitter. Find it either there, and if Cade gives me permission to tweet out or post anything else in our Discords or anything, I'll be sure to do that once they are okay with me doing that.
Yeah. On that note, once I actually nail down what I'm doing for the rest of the subclasses, and I have a bit more plans I want to do, but I'm going to basically try and make it all into one big thing and containing a world itself. Once that's all done, I'll let Des do their work, and you'll be able to see that.
Yeah, and you might see some other stuff pop up. To answer your question for Shoot there, I suppose you're going to have to tune into the next campaign to see what Kate's playing. Got him.
It is spicy.
Got him.
I can't wait.
Also,
I
people,
cannot
I'm saying this to you
wait.
guys now.
Like it.
We'll start be tweeting that out this week. Please no one spoil the name of this campaign coming up, because it will be announced next week. Don't spoil your characters, because that's going to be on our Twitter. So I really do recommend, I know I've put it before, but I'm going to put it in the chat again. I really recommend you start checking out our Twitter from tomorrow on. There's going to be some spicy stuff being posted.
There's a lot of stuff coming.
It's gonna
There
be
is.
very nice Twitter, yeah.
It's
But
gonna-
I want to say something
Very nice
about
Twitter.
Cade. Cade touched on something very interesting, right? You said that you didn't really plan ahead too much, and that helped you experiment. I think this is like actually amazing advice, because a lot of D&D players, we are overthinkers, right? We think a lot, sometimes too much, and
talking about?
yes, and I think this is actually such a freeing feeling to explore the character as you go and not have something completely set, because you actually let yourself like be so adventurous in it and kind of explore the character, not dictate what they feel. I think that's fun.
Yeah, learn as you go.
You know, it was definitely a different experience to what I've previously done, and it was an enjoyable one for sure. It's a good, if you have experience with D&D and RPGs and that sort of thing, don't feel yourself to be confined specifically to your backstory. Chuck that shit out of the window and just use what's fun for you. You know?
Yeah.
Make your own canon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of the same thing was with Asketil, where like I first thought that Asketil is like completely ace, like he's not interested in anyone but himself, and the prophecy is the only thing that gets his bonus. But
Lauren did
as
too.
we are a group of as we are a group of shippers, everyone was like, "No, you're totally into it." I'm like, "Yeah, sure, fuck it." And then it became Asketil finding and losing his true love, then finding a what is it in English? Rebound relationship with
Yeah,
a creepy bog person.
Look, I would
Yep.
like to describe most improv groups, because that's what D&D is at the end of the day. Most improv groups are like, yes and, whereas this group is more, yeah, fuck it. Why not?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
our
that's
sort
so
of like
true.
brand.
Why the fuck not?
Yeah,
Okay,
so
to
we
be
talked.
fair, though, we did not seduce the dragon.
No, you
Yeah,
did not seduce the
That's
dragon.
unfortunate.
We didn't
Uh,
have a
Didn't even
bar, to be
try.
fair.
We didn't have art. So we
Listen,
talked.
With
This
us,
time.
with us, it's sometimes yes and, sometimes yes fuck it, and also sometimes yes but fuck you. And those three things. Perfect.
Look, and sometimes with Kate, it's yes, Zaddy, please. 'Cause there's a lot of thing there. We're degenerates. Hoping next campaign will be a little bit more serious. I am, applying my. See, it's odd. Normally, it's the players that try and bribe the DM. I am bribing my players. To try and take this serious. But yes, we talked about, if memory serves me correct, before we got distracted there with the great question for Duke, I will say. We talked about Thorvid, we talked about Vorm, we talked about Odon, favorite moments. If I'm correct, or did we get
I
to
think
Odon?
we're up to Odon.
So Odon, favorite moment. Just as you interact around Korean, it's really nice to see like fight or flight responses, but the very much Celeste talked about the freeze response.
Hmm.
Don't
It was
forget
very interesting to see.
about the very real fawn for the fourth F.
We're the
Yeah.
worst.
No, I'm serious. There's actual fourth one.
Really?
It's flight, fight, freeze, fawn.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
The more you
Because
know.
Jen just made it up.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. No, I'm serious.
You for
He's talking shit.
This is giant memes, but no, it's a real thing.
All right.
Hmm.
Well, let's talk about
Let's
Odon,
talk
though,
Odon.
right?
I was trying to be funny. I'm sorry.
Look, I guess it's not so much as a character moment, I guess, but I like seeing a homebrew class that Kate had done himself being used, and not just being used, but being used very effectively, and Des giving it a chance to shine and to see its mechanics play out. I thought that was really cool, because I've never actually seen that in a game before, where a player's been allowed to play a homebrew creation of theirs and allow it to really shine. So I really like that personally. I thought
Look,
that was nice.
It was a very easy moment to be like, what's the rules as intended? Well, author, what is the rule as intended?
That makes it so much easier.
Yep.
Definitely. And
I will
it's
say,
felt
though,
balanced.
Yeah, the fucking finishing blow with chucking a sword at a dragon. I mean, that's just
That's-
epic stuff. Come on.
Look, you had to do it to him. It was fucking great. Odon hit. Odon wasn't there for the longest, but got a phenomenal killing blow. Askell, of course, will get back to mainland and say they did it, but
Yeah, 100%.
All by themselves, even.
yeah, no one else was there.
My favorite Odon moment was literally just like at the start when we were all just like, oh fuck, the character is mute. How are we gonna deal with this shit? And then Kate's just like, oh yeah, telepathy. And we're like, fucking what? Hang on. Because you started off with just talking to one person at a time.
Mhm.
And then I think Des ruled that you could talk to everyone, and we're just like, oh, okay, that makes it so much easier.
Yeah, very
and you
easy
just
to
kept
say.
talking to one person.
My favorite thing was very similar to that, but it's not that it was ruled that he could talk to multiple people. It's that he totally could have talked to all of us. He just didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
he
chose
He
Yeah.
was
not
just
to.
like, no, I'm
For
good.
sure, the headcanon is seeing a bunch of people walk up. He's going to pick the specific people that look like leaders and talk to them, and then deal with the rest of them later on because it's easier.
I think he probably spoke to Corvallis less than like half a dozen times.
As opposed to Vorin, who he constantly called Corvallis Crow instead of his actual name.
Yeah.
I loved the disrespect that Varn was.
Oh, so good.
So, Odon, does anyone else have anything they want to say?
I have something I want to say.
Yeah, we'll get to you.
He was saying,
What do you want to say?
Wait your turn. No.
I want to say that Odon, although it is, frankly, let's be honest here. Let's give it a whole buck. Inferior to Vorin as far as characters go. being able to play him in this mute character who talks via telepathy, and then just having to utilize specifically that, realizing that I am an Asima who has the ability to cast spells, but now I can't because I can't fucking speak, was hilarious, by the way. I had detect thoughts, which you kind of need to be able to use some form of like components and stuff to do. And I'm like, oh, I don't have a voice.
Does detect thoughts require verbal?
I'm
It
pretty sure
does.
it does. If I'm not.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
I'm
So I
right.
got
That
this
seems
thing. I got
counterintuitive.
this. I got this from my feat of having telepathy, and I couldn't even use it.
Just like half of
Good
telepathy
planning.
feet, just nowhere.
Look, that's why
Love
we take
that.
RP choices. And yeah, you do need a copper piece. It's vocal somatic material.
Oh yeah, penny for your thoughts. I remember
Yeah,
that joke.
penny for your thoughts.
But yeah, I also will say as well, as someone who has been writing a lot of homebrew recently, seeing this homebrew, specifically the Stress Knight, one of the ones I was more worried about being overtuned or undertuned, being just broken in some way, having it turn out to be just so well balanced in its grand scheme of things. I only had to change one thing during that entire through of him. I was quite impressed with that, at least myself personally.
Yeah, I just wanted to. I felt bad that Voran died because I knew you really liked the character. So I was like, you know what? You've been asking me. Let's we've got what 3 sessions after the time, 4 sessions. Let's just do it.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
we've talked 3 of 6 characters. We got to talk Corvallis now, the Doom Croaker who saw ill omens everywhere they went. I honestly just something so simple as like you trying to be a tape recorder for any situation that ever came up I fucking loved, because it's like, yeah, you got your mimicry, but instead of like trying to do this, but you also did a very good job actually mimicking people sometimes with Thorvin and such. You didn't like, not like obviously 1-to-1, but you got pretty good like, idioms and like tone, which was impressive. I think you played a Ravenfolk very, very well, and also the way you played Corvallis, I just genuinely enjoyed, because you weren't like really like super in your face, I need to check everything, but I thought you did an awful lot of good jobs and an awful lot of good checks to really help the party along. It was a very interesting character to see played out.
Yeah.
I rolled a surprising amount of crits with checks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in that last
Very
fight,
useful.
you did very well like, on those deck saves.
That was nice.
I would say as well, I did love how you played Corvallis in terms of whenever you need, especially after the prison break, anytime there's a possibility for a spell component, you would be like, hey Des, is there a chance I can get like this component from this little
I need an eggshell. Any eggshell.
Yeah, that eggshell. Do you have any eagle feathers lying around? And just the constant Corvallis, just which I
was
played
creative,
as
though.
kind
I
of
fucking
very much
loved
in
it.
character for Corvallis as well, just like paranoid, constantly checking around for anything that can help. I really like that. I really like that. I thought it was perfect for his character to be constantly just looking and searching for something.
Paranoia is the best aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I did mention it before when we discussed once after the session. I really like how you implement movement and sound into playing a character. Because, like, I personally, like, as much as I talk a lot, I am quite embarrassed sometimes to add that sort of stuff. And you just fucking go for it. Like, that's the power of imagination, and just like, fuck it, I'm going all in. That's so, like, fun to see, that's not something everyone can do. And also, another thing I loved is a surprisingly passive aggressive relationship that we stumble upon between
What does hamstring do?
Asketil.
Best moment. What does hamstring do?
I mean, just in general, how they would like throw absolutely out of fucking nowhere jabs at each other for no reason. That's just fun, stupid shit.
That was good fun.
It's pretty great.
It was very good.
Yeah. The weird silence between characters.
Yeah. Well, does anyone else have anything they wish to add? Favorite moments? Bruna, do you have a favorite moment for Corvallis? Did you say yours?
Oh, sorry. I was kind of like going along with the like.
Just if you have anything
like,
to add.
I just loved him as a character in general. Like, I know that's really cop out, but like I loved like just like the disconnected like old man, but not an old man. Just like like the feather ruffles, just like the way like all the little bits that you added, and just like the oh yeah, he's saying Doom. Like I don't know, it just made me really happy. I liked
Yeah.
him.
Doom
He was very
every
entertaining
time.
as a character.
Yeah.
Doom.
So,
Especially if we were in the giant hall and he was just like, "Have you thought about Doom?"
I will just quickly say, like I agree with everyone else's points, and it's gonna be hard for me to pick anything else. I just want to say something that's completely separate and out of character. AJ, we did it. We had a character that wasn't connected in some way.
everybody, it's finally happened. AJ, do you have anything you wish to add to your favorite bits of Corvallis?
I just wanted to say, going off of Daria's whole thing about like the mannerisms and the sounds and stuff, it took me so long to work out those little like noises and things, and I figured like it's a safe space here. Like the six of us, we're all great friends, hopefully.
Not after
And-
this.
Yeah, and yeah, I just, even though we are streaming this, like this feels like such a safe space where if I do, you know, as long as I give it a shot, you know, I'm not going to get ridiculed or anything like that, which, you know, it's good.
Look, I
We
think
love you for it, AJ.
if I can play Rolam, you can make caws and squawks.
Yeah, true. True. Yeah.
If anyone's going to
That
make
was-
a fool of themselves, I'm going to do it first. Don't worry.
Yeah, and just I think just the old bird who just was so confused. I didn't actually write up a backstory for Corvallis because fuck it. But I've sort of had like this little thing in my head where, so I mentioned early on that his master or his like teacher was a hobgoblin because the way Raven folks work is they reincarnate. That's their capstone. Their capstone is if they die, they reincarnate after 7 days from an egg. And so this was a hobgoblin that hatched out of a like humanoid-sized egg, and that is the main reason of why Corvallis is so just fucking weird.
Do you mean the
Like,
capstone
I
of
don't-
Doomcroaker?
The capstone of Doomcroaker, yes. Sorry for
Races very
class.
rarely have
Yeah.
capstones.
Yeah, no, I
We should add that, to be honest.
yeah, no. So that's their capstone. They get like advantage on death saves, and they once a month they can reincarnate after spending 7 days hanging from the world tree. Yeah.
That's a horrible way to spend 7 days, by the way.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, if Odin did it,
Yeah, look.
No, Odon, by the way, different character.
So,
Yeah.
we got to talk our favorite, not Sonic the Hedgehog, Peruna. That little hedgehog.
Sonic the Mom.
My favorite moment would be. It's such a hard one because you were so sweet as Peruna. The knitting, the furious knitting, I loved so much. But like the constant like calm approach and just the strained relationship, and then ultimately the end. It was such an emotional ride for the character. But if I had to say my favorite Peruna moment, I would say is finally going to Tierfang after you were that level of monk where you can no longer catch disease and be like, I would like to shake your hand. I thought that was so sweet.
yeah.
Everyone needs a hug or a handshake every now and then.
Mm.
And Perna's like, she's like, I am the mom. I will do the thing. I don't care if you're like older than me or whatever. So everyone needs a mom sometimes, and I'll be that.
Yeah.
Actually, off of the whole Peruna being a mum thing, my personal favorite Peruna moment overlaps with my favorite Voron moment, coincidentally enough, is her trying to basically outsave Voron.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was like low-key kind of a competition between them to try and keep each other alive.
Yeah.
Look, this group was nothing if not a dysfunctional family.
It really
Yeah.
was, though.
Very dysfunctional.
I will
They
say that
tried, though.
I really enjoy when characters, even in like horrible missions and stuff, have hobbies. I just love that. Like I am a like from when I was 5, I was playing Sims 1, so you can understand. I like daily life shit when it comes to games. So
Yeah.
I just love that. Like little side projects, it makes a character, even if you don't think through like their entire life and stuff, it makes it seem lived in, like the person
Mm.
has life outside of this like horrible daily struggle, you know.
I think
The
something that
reason for the
Go ahead.
sorry to say the reason for the knitting needles is because like back before everything when she was still like an actual mom, they didn't have a lot of money, so she knitted them clothes to stay warm in the winter. And then
Aw.
the knitting needles, because she had a fuck ton of, she had a lot of kids. And so one day for like the last Mother's Day that she had like with her family still together, that's what they got her, was like they had like saved up and like gone foraging and stuff for like truffles, and like they'd saved up to buy her the fancy knitting needles.
Oof.
So I don't know if you told us what happened with the children. Why did they die?
I haven't. So it was just like sometimes the road is a really dangerous place, especially when you don't live like right in like the middle of like a society group and you kind of live on the fringes of it. And it was just like raided by gnolls or something like that. And there was a
Okay.
fire and it was bad.
To talk about like the hobbies and stuff, I obviously I don't really share all the stuff that goes into our character creation like with the viewers, because that's not like the most interesting part of D&D. But like I give every player a survey that they have to fill about their character, and it's like, what do they do like when they're at home like chilling? What do they do when they're on watch? Like, what are their hobbies? What are their interests? And I love that you guys all do take that and you're like, this is sort of what I think I do, like, you know, this is my vibe. And I love to see you guys all play into that.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, I like making people, not characters.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good way
That
to
is
put it.
very good advice for character creation. So,
Mm.
My favorite part of Karuna's whole thing was both the beanie that she knitted for Corvallis, because yes, adorableness, and Corvallis would still be wearing that after the failure of the resurrection. He'd pick it up, tears in his eyes, put it on, get on with his life, sort of thing.
Mhm.
I did have intentions for making everybody something, even Asketil. Too.
Mm.
Even Asketil.
Even
I love that there's
Asketil.
an
Even
even
the
there.
Yeah.
I mean, let's not pretend like they got along in any way, shape,
No,
or form.
no, not at all.
And then also just the aggressive mum energy as well, like the "I'm protecting my family here, bitch" sort of
Yeah.
energy. Like, I think it was with the
She-
worms, or not the worms, the Remoraz.
Mhm.
Like, even though it was a Remoraz family, you were just like, all right, fuck these guys, and just fucking running around beating the shit out of a bunch of hot worms, basically.
I saw a monk when she lost her family.
Mm.
I
That all
think at
came
some
after.
point, Jen said she has Molly Weasley energy, and that is definitely a
Yes.
good
Yeah.
portrayal.
Yeah.
Number one inspiration. I was like, I need some Molly in my life.
Not my daughter.
Not Molly, but Molly.
No.
Jen, I just want to
Party!
take that good sentiment. I would like to take that good sentiment of what Dari just said and twist it to make it horrible and worse. Being a monk, obviously, you were quite fast. In certain situations, I would argue you were furious, right?
Get
All
out.
about family. All about family.
I'm all about the fucking Fast and Furious family meme, so let's go.
Look, I'm not saying you're definitely the dumb Toretto of this group, but I mean,
Wow.
I understand none of this. I haven't
Hey,
watched them.
I'm the bold one. What is this? This is slander.
That's true.
Absolute slander. So, anyone else have anything they wish to add to our favorite Karuna moments?
Honestly, I think it's all been said by this stage. But I love Karuna. I thought she was perfectly sweet while still
She was
being
good
absolutely furious, as said before. But just a really good balance between, especially it was very different coming off the back of Aura, someone who had a certain sweetness to her, but the way you played it with Karuna was vastly different. especially coming from a slightly woad-related background as well, which is interesting. But yeah, it was a vastly different just angle, but also very similar at the same time, and it felt very different, which was well done, I thought. It's not easy to do.
Jen, do you have anything to add that you'd like to add? Were you good?
I just loved how she, every time I did a fight, I said that she had to like jump up to beat her enemies because she's tiny and we're facing giant boys.
It was tiny. I love the way she got the first kill against the Yeti.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
She got. Unless you ask the person we're talking about next.
Kinda.
Asketil. Oh my god, the amount of Asketil moments in this fucking game.
Yeah. It was a world and we're just living in it.
Yeah, so I gotta say,
Yeah.
probably one of my favorite Asketil moments is anytime he opened his fucking mouth. It was awful. I loved it, but I think the sweetest part, my absolute favorite, was Asketil convincing Scalagrim that even if he's not 100% sure, to treat Vorin as his son because that's what Vorin needs. And I thought that was so sentimental and nice.
Yeah.
That was my favorite
dare
part,
you.
hands down.
How dare you take mine?
There's a reason I go first.
But if I was to pick something other than that, because there is so many Vorin Asketil moments that I've got at least 100, if not more, to choose from.
Ooh.
I'd have to say my second favorite would be the situation in which ended up in Vorin getting his ass tattooed.
Look,
Yeah, it
Yeah.
just the situation just happened to happen. Yeah, you know, it just
Yeah,
ended
just
up that
boys
way.
being lads. What of it?
I mean, I don't know. That's how it works. I mean, come on. I mean, we're kind of gaslighting here a little bit, so don't.
oh, it was a great moment though. You two played that relationship so well. Oh, it was so
Oh.
good.
I will also say, just quickly, coming from Eleanor Nux, Eleanor Braska to this was so fun.
It was very
comparison.
refreshing.
It was,
Yeah.
yeah.
I will say I think most of the credit here goes to Cade because I don't think I thought about it beforehand, but I assumed that most characters would hate Asketil because he's such an Asketil, but like Warren, like as soon as Asketil opened his mouth, he's like, "You're fascinating," and I was like, "Oh my god, this is just great."
He played to you
Vorin
also.
saw,
sorry.
Vorin saw Asketil and saw an entertaining time, if nothing else.
If
Yep.
nothing else, I was gonna say thanks Jake for the $1 and good night to you too. So,
I did love Asketil as well. His insistence of tattooing every feat, whether or not he did it or he was just a part of it. We tattooed it in nonetheless. We slayed this monster. Well, someone else dealt the final blow, but sure as hell Asketil's going to take all the glory for it, get the tattoo on, and the story will be him killing it. I just
Nope.
love how
I'm
much he
confused.
played. What's
Then
that?
Asketil got all the kills. What's the problem here?
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%, yeah.
You're tripping over there, Raph.
Just your conviction and determination playing such an egotistical, self-obsessed character was perfect. Just flawless. Every moment, you never let up with that. There was never just a break in it. Just the constant Asketil.
Just, I mean, going off the whole Corvallis Asketil rivalry, it wasn't really a rivalry because it was just Corvallis being petty as fuck and Asketil being Asketil. That was pretty much it. Yeah, no, I think Corvallis was just confused by Asketil's vibe. But I loved it. I loved the whole, like, it was almost like a Gilderoy Lockhart from, Harry Potter sort of vibe of, like, I'm the greatest. No, you're not. Yes, I am. Yeah, it was really fun to see, just a bit of an arsehole character in a group of arsehole characters. Somehow you were the most,
You win the
vocal about
asshole award.
You were the most
Yeah.
most.
Yay!
yeah, that's good.
So, Jen, do you have anything you wish to add to our Asketil list?
I actually like as a person like outside of Peruna, like I did enjoy like Askutel's definitely a love to hate him kind of character. But I really loved like all of the moments where like him and Warren together were just like
Mhm.
skipping off into the sunset holding hands is all I could picture.
So romantic. Well, yeah, I think it was definitely fun to play a character who is like very simple, right? He's not stupid, but there is not much like intricacy to what he does, what he thinks. He just goes with it, whatever it is, you know. And like after Eleanor, who had a lot of like internal conflict and like was very high strung, having Asketil, who's like he does not give a fuck about anything. He knows what's up, and that's enough for him. Is good. And also, next campaign I'm planning to play like a serious and like smart character. So this was very nice to like relax a bit.
It was very
I
nice.
can't wait until next campaign.
I know, but we're
Same.
not going to talk about it because we'll be talking about it soon. So
We
we're
don't
not gonna-
talk about.
I can't
I
wait.
was gonna make that joke, AJ.
So, I say this through gritted teeth because I am not used to receiving praise, but what was your favorite me moment?
Strap in,
Honestly-
buddy.
Honestly, I have to say, one of the things that stands out once again is that even though this was a short 10-session campaign, small campaign, you still made sure that every goddamn NPC we met was memorable and just so well developed and played to perfection that they just still stick in our heads, that we can just like, oh yeah, first session, remember when we met this NPC? Yeah, they were great.
Yeah.
Like, the fact you can constantly do that with such precision and just every time get it right is incredible. And I love that. Just
Raph, I have to
every
be a pain in the
NPC.
ass right now. What
Yeah.
was Tiafang's wife's name?
Dude, I don't even remember that Tiffany had a wife.
My wife.
Bro, I didn't even
I
know
think
Tearfing had a
I-
wife.
I just remember there was a random woman. I'm like, I'll see if I can like trip Raph up by just saying this random like fact that I don't think we ever actually got.
Yeah.
No,
Here's
it was
the thing
the.
though. That doesn't really matter. Like I'm horrible at remembering names,
Yeah.
but impressions of characters and names, it's different stuff.
And all the main NPCs, like the ones we interacted with,
Hmm.
from Ice Bucket to Tiafing to Scaligrim.
Excuse me, Ice Bucket.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's a
Was
step
not
too far.
Iceman?
Esky.
Come on, it's obviously Iceman.
It's actually Frozone from The Incredibles.
It was Ice Bucket.
Where's
I'm
Master?
offended
Yeah.
for Icebox. Just saying.
No, it was Ice Bucket. That's one
Ice
calling. No, it's Ice
Bucket,
Bucket.
no way.
His actually,
Yeah.
his actual full name was the Ice Bucket Challenge.
Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
God.
Here, I'm
But
offended. for it.
on back on a serious note here, just quickly, I just want to quickly throw it in there. Des, thanks for being my surrogate dad again. Appreciate it.
We're good. Therapy fees in the post.
I loved the fact that every campaign Des manages to do some form of game or carnival or just fuckery session with
Yeah.
fucking Aban the Inscrutable. Just like, you know, alright, here's this challenge, fuck we lost. Here's this challenge, fuck we lost again. That was so much fun just being like, well, we've gambled literally most of our valuables away. Let's get going.
Look, what's a longhorn? Just at the end of the day.
What's a fucking longhorn?
Turns out it was just a long horn.
It literally was a longhorn. But because Daria
I
asked so
think
many
that's
times, I had to end a session on it.
Yeah, you see, that's suspicious. I think that's too easy of an answer. There's something more going on there.
Inside the longhorn, there's a shorthorn.
Did Corvallis used to take magic on the Longhorn?
Never.
Probably not.
Shut
Corvallis
up.
was a wizard without identifier.
Look, that's,
Yeah, that's kind of funny.
Unheard of.
It's an
What
interesting one.
blasphemy you committed?
Speaking of like DM
Yeah.
moments, this can be unorthodox, but I think this requires like I think that's a very cool lesson for anyone who like DMs and such, because that's great. Like when Baldy Girl died, I was like legit upset. I was like wicked upset about how it happened, how like just out of nowhere, and like it didn't feel good. And when I came to Des to like talk about it, like they actually like took the time to understand and like understand my approach. And after that, like the amazing death that like Warren received, like that was obviously thought through. And I think that's an important skill, right? It's all about collaborating. It's all about understanding everyone and what is important to people. I think that's what makes like a good DM a great DM, you know?
Yeah.
Look, when Boulder Girl's death, touching on that moment, you slept in a cave that was heavily patrolled. There was warning signs, and the initiative went super bad, and the meme was high. I definitely could have handled Boulder Girl better, but it's just, if we don't learn from each other, then we're clearly not doing anything right. And I made sure when it came to the next deaths to handle it, I was going to just give it more grace and a more noble send off.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Which I find is very thankful for.
Mm. Yeah. I think you have to be commended on the fact that no matter what may or may not be happening in like your actual life, you always show up to these sessions with like, you know, I don't know if everything's prepared, but it seems like everything is prepared, and you always blow it out of the fucking water.
Yeah.
And yeah.
You're very present. You're very present in the sessions, and that shows like you really care.
Look, AJ, I 100% promise you, I write everything out. There's no randomness. I don't fly by the seat of my pants ever. Not at all, ever. Everything is 100% thought out. I have more than one page
exactly.
that has 4 bullet points.
Des. As someone who just recently finished campaign, completely back you up there. They wrote everything out. Everything was planned
100%,
from the beginning.
100%. Every DC for every roll, everything.
Every single thing was prepared from the beginning.
Look, I wrote this before
And this
we
is
started.
why I will never DM.
It's super easy if you just don't prep, apparently.
Once again, this is why I will never DM.
You really should. I think you would be a very nice DM, Jen.
But
Be very
Des, just quickly, since we've given you compliments, I need to bring you back down a peg.
Thank you.
Fuck you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you look stupid.
I always do.
No.
Des, you never look stupid.
I know.
That's
I'm
fair.
Not as stupid as us. Okay, let's be honest.
Yeah, I've seen my arm. That's all I'm saying.
So,
Don't show that. That's against TOS.
Okay, Mr. Weird in the back rooms. Let's go. You just, I don't understand.
Oh, I can change all that.
unless you have anything else we want to talk about, this is our wrap up. Pretty much done.
We're not done telling you how amazing you are. What are you talking about? Literally only Daria went.
Look, I can try and sneak out of this. I think Rap went.
I'm confident we all went, except for you.
Yeah, I think
You know,
everyone
yeah.
apart from you went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a you problem, Jen.
I think I went
Is it?
twice.
Yeah. I think you did a Thorvin just
There
went.
was no individual time. Okay,
Yeah,
whatever.
It was a
We just
collaborative effort, you know?
Just
I
look at our
definitely
spells,
went
okay?
twice.
Yeah, just look at our spells.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought that we were gonna do like the okay in your turn thing. I'm sorry.
No,
about
we've
that.
kind of we
we
bridged
don't-
that gap where we
Okay.
just like cutting over each
Sorry.
other and saying our
Des,
opinions.
Okay.
I've got you. Okay, Jen, your turn.
I
Thank
hate you.
We're the
I was
worst.
just. I hate everything. I don't say anything now. No, I just really appreciate how much like you put up with us. Like I know that that's probably very dumb, but like we were extra memey this campaign, like very very obviously all the time very memey, and it just like the fact of you just like going, this is not what I planned, but I'm here for it. Let's go. Was just like very much appreciated because like I don't know, we play so much like more like with the last campaign it's like more serious and like we always like we want to be like we have like a certain like expectation that we bring in with this thing. It just kind of went whoop. And the fact that you were okay with that and let it happen was just really helpful.
I definitely didn't set out with the intent, as I said. I set out with the idea, I'd be like, there's gonna be like Vikings, and then I was like, no, this is like Goonies, and then it's definitely much more. But no, thank you. You guys all have really nice words. But yeah, that's been the Raiders of Yosgrin. It's been a phenomenal campaign, even though it was a little bit late. Hey Sabotage, you're kind of late because we're doing a really short session today, but we're doing the wrap up, and we're wrapping up the wrap up. But But yes, I know I've said this a few times tonight. I hate to just keep plugging socials, but I highly recommend people check out our Twitter and Discord because things are going to start getting posted. Pretty much, I will have a post up every day between tomorrow and next Monday about something of the next campaign starting, and I really recommend you guys look at it because you don't want to miss this shit.
It's
I
gonna be good.
assure
Look at
you.
the socials.
Yeah. So thank you, Roxas, and I because you have to mention these things. I hate mentioning them, but if you've liked this, if you've liked the wrap up, if you like the Raiders of Yosgrin, if you drop us a follow, we really appreciate it. We've got a Discord. We'd love to see you there. We're going to try and be a little bit more active. I'm going to start badgering Kate to put his homebrew in there because I am crazy busy with stuff. And yeah, follow. If you got Primes, use them. Use whatever you want. We've got Discords. We've got Instagrams, we've got Twitters, we've got YouTube where all the VODs go after this. Although I think they are about a week behind because I've been releasing them kind of slowly because I've been busy, y'all. I've been prepping for a bit of context. I've been prepping for unnamed next campaign because I'm not announcing them, even though I think someone's already leaked it before. I've been prepping for this next campaign since September. It's been a hot while. Some characters have even been made since September.
And
So-
those people who are watching on the VOD on YouTube, like and subscribe.
Oh, thank you, Adrian. Well, I'll do the really cringe one as well. I hate mentioning this because I don't really post on that much. If you do like our world and if you ever want to experience some of this world for yourself, we do have a World Anvil that if you subscribe to our Patreon, it's only $5. It's only ever going to be $5 to get access to the World Anvil. You can see my my notes on the various roamings of the world and stuff. And if you like the setting of Quenthos and you have questions about it, you can post them there and stuff. And it's cool. It supports us. It helps us out. Helps me keep the lights on the dynamic lighting. Literally, most of the money just goes to dynamic lighting Roll20 subscription, so it keeps literally the lights on. But if that's it, I'm just gonna sign off with, we really appreciate you. We're a small channel, and the Elder Scribe has been a lot of fun. We set out with like literally zero intentions, and you know it's been great. We've built we have a small community, and we love you all. Thank you for showing up, and we should hopefully be back again. I will probably tweet out along with the first post tomorrow. I just want to confirm with everyone because we are planning on being pretty romantic and starting on Valentine's Day, depending on how everyone's schedule is. So we just got to talk about that behind the scenes. But with that, we're going to go ahead and raid out. Trying to see who we're going to raid. None of my regular follow people that I raid are on, so we're gonna. There is I think there's some people playing a bit of D&D, so we'll keep it D&D.
Sorry.
Look, we've got a
Listen,
cat.
it's a feeding time, which means I get accosted.
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and raid out. But thank you so much for showing up. Check out our Discord. One more time, check out the socials, follow, and we'll see you for the next campaign. Bye.